this week's edition of the Weekly Sting. I'm your host, Joe Hutzler, outside a very sunny Schellenberger Field on this Wednesday afternoon. Without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right into our first guest, and that is Miss Mallory Henderson. Mallory, thanks for coming on the show. Really appreciate it. I know you have hair issues
Yeah, it's all
right
over
now.
the place right now.
we moved so that you wouldn't have to have shadows in your face, and now you got to deal with the wind. So we do apologize for that.
It's all right.
We don't apologize for having you on because of the relevancy of what you guys have been able to do from a field hockey perspective. You guys are on a great run right now, 5 straight wins. And we keep talking about this, but I think it's worth mentioning again. The difference this team, in the way they look, the way that the atmosphere is when we're around you guys, as opposed to a month ago. When you're going on the road again and again and again. You finally come back home after a month. You beat Washington and Lee, and since then it's been domination. What changed for you guys mentally and, of course, from the fundamental standpoint after coming back from those road trips?
After the road trips, I mean, mentally being home, that already automatically helps us out mentally because we're not fatigued from the bus. We're on our home field, and it's just it's an exciting atmosphere to come out to. So it's so nice to be back at home finally. And then fundamentals, I think practice, we've just been picking it up a lot, changing up our drills a little bit, making them more challenging. Going over some film and everything, so it's just little pieces that are all coming together now.
Well, the one great thing about your all's play as of late is that you are enjoying being home, and you're probably still going to be home before the ODAC tournament next week, undefeated, well on your way to clinching that #1 seed officially coming up on Saturday. What does that? We talk about this from a media perspective. Well, they're playing at home, so they'll have home field advantage. But we don't really go into it much more than that. Some of us never made it to this level, the collegiate level, playing at home. How much of an advantage is Schellenberger Field for you guys as opposed to playing elsewhere?
It's huge. I mean, like I said, it's a lot of a mental aspect to it. Just being home, having our fans here, having everyone here cheering us on, that helps out tremendously. And just the comfort of our own field. We practice every single day on it, so, and not being on AstroTurf helps out a lot too.
Yes.
So,
I know last year that was a point of contention, having to play on AstroTurf. But
very different playing style.
Of course, absolutely. With you guys doing as well as you are, is this what you thought you could do? I mean, is this when you start the season, is this what you expected to happen? And even more so, a month ago, did you think you would be in this position after the way things were going?
I think so. We have a lot of talent this year, and again, in the beginning, it was kind of a rough start, but I think we're where we should be now. So
I think it's a good spot to be in. I always want to be at the top.
Yes.
So best of luck next week when that happens. Of course,
Thank
best
you.
of luck Saturday.
Thank you.
Should mention they have 1 game left. Outside of field hockey, of course, you are a student. You are someone that's not just a full-time athlete. And outside of just the academic world, you do like to be, on a day like this, I'm sure you'd love to be outside doing something. You mentioned hiking. You mentioned the beach. I want to know, where does that come from? Where does the love for being outside come from?
I grew up, so the area I'm from, I'm surrounded by water, so I have a lot of water there, like rivers, bays, beaches, so I'm always outside somewhere. And then up here, like during the winter time, since you can't go to the beach or anything like that, kind of left with the mountains, so I'm just outside any chance I get. My parents, my dad grew up, like, we were always outside together doing bonfires or something like that, so kind of came from that.
Do you have a favorite place to hike around here?
I've only really been to Sharp Top around here. I've been to Crabtree Falls, which is pretty cool. That's a little further away. So
Sharp Top I have not been to yet. What's the view like once you get there?
It's amazing up there. You can see everything. I definitely recommend to anyone that goes here, definitely needs to make a trip up there.
There you go, Sharp Top. That's the place.
Recommended.
It's a place to go. Recommended by Mallory Henderson.
Yes.
Of course, when you think about outdoors, you see the commercials on TV. What are people doing? They're throwing sticks to dogs, or they're playing with dogs in general. You are someone who is all for that. You have 2 dogs of your own, and it's funny you said before we came on the air, I can talk about them more than I can talk about me. What is it about those 2 dogs?
I'm definitely an animal person. We got them when I was both in high school. So they're both rescue dogs. One's a girl, one's a boy. The girl, her name's Zoe, The boy is Clyde, and Clyde's crazy because he's still a puppy. He's in his later puppy stages,
Right.
so he's around 2 or 3 years old, but lots of energy all the time.
Of course, at that age especially.
Yeah.
Crazy Clyde, I like it. I like that. With that also comes the student side of your life, wanting to be a physical therapist one day. And I think it's really interesting to hear why people want to take that route. And yours is actually because you were injured and you thought, I'm getting a lot of education on my own injuries,
Right.
something I'm interested in.
Yeah, definitely. That's kind of when it exposed me to it, when I went to physical therapy for surgeries and everything. So I just got exposed to it there, and then I knew I wanted to do something that helped people with any career I picked, so it kind of fell into place.
How is that going as far as what you expected? And is it more than you expected, or was it right about what you thought it would be?
It's pretty hard so far. Anatomy, I'm in oh my goodness, anatomy right now.
Hard to say.
Yeah, hard all around. But no, it's not too bad if you put in the amount of work you need to. So just studying a lot, and it's not too bad after
Makes
that.
sense.
Yeah.
Do you have a preference on, because typically you go to grad school for that, or do you think about staying here? Or?
I'm definitely going to apply here.
Okay.
I've already looked at some other places too, but Lynchburg's definitely a place I'll be applying.
Great place to do it,
Yeah.
that's for sure. People come from all over the world to come to this physical therapy program. I do want to end on coming back to field hockey and just talking about when you look at what the team has done, obviously things are clicking on all cylinders to this point. Is there still another level? Do you guys think you've reached your full potential, or do you think you can still get better?
I think we can still get better, definitely. You know, if we keep practicing the way we have been, getting our minds right and working hard, I think we can definitely keep going further.
Can this team bring the championship back?
We'll see.
Oh,
Hope so.
She's not going to come out and say it. Okay, I respect that. Mallory, thank you so much for your time, for coming on the show.
Thank you
Good
so
luck on
much.
Saturday, and we'll see you around campus.
Thank you.
We'll be right back after this short break with Lynn Walsh from volleyball.
It's on us, every Hornet, to stand up for one cause, to stand up against sexual assault.
To have the knowledge necessary to identify when sexual assault may occur.
To show integrity when confronted with a domestic violence conflict.
Where consent has not or cannot be given.
To create a community where sexual assault is unacceptable.
To provide service to survivors who need our support.
To embrace diversity and to provide a safe atmosphere for all Hornets.
Regardless of race, sexual orientation, gender, or ability.
To engage others on the importance of sexual assault awareness.
To value the tradition of standing up for others when they reach out.
To be consistent with our message, never wavering what is unacceptable.
It's on us to stand up to sexual assault at Lynchburg College. We are one nation, and it's on us.
It's on us. It's on us.
It's on us.
It's on us.
It's on us.
The Weekly Sting is brought to you by Zaxby's on 221 in Forest, Virginia. Stop by for the best chicken in town from the official chicken of Lynchburg Sports. Welcome back, everyone, to a very windy Weekly Sting here on top of Schellenberger Field. I'm Joe Hutzler. Before we get to our second guest, let's get to this week's Hornet Trivia question. And this week we're talking about men's basketball because today was the media day at the ODAC tournament location, which is in Salem, Virginia. We ask you, when was the last time a men's basketball team won back-to-back ODAC championships, and who? We'll get to the answer coming up in the next segment. Now, without further ado, our next guest, Miss Lynn Walsh of women's volleyball. Thank you for coming on the show, Lynn.
Thank you for having me.
Good to see you in front of the camera.
Yeah.
Lynn works very hard for us behind the camera on LHSN, but we're going to put you in the spotlight for a little bit, and we're going to talk about the volleyball program. we have talked more about the program this year than we did a year ago, and for a very good reason. One, we're all better at our jobs. Two, you guys are looking night and day difference from last year. And without going into what's the difference between last year and this year, you guys are almost at the end of this year, so let's not worry about that. Let's focus on coming into the season. You knew you had great talent. You knew your freshmen still had to get molded a little bit. How much growth have you seen? How much good growth have you seen from the very first game to last night's contest against Guilford when you have someone like Lauren Stanford who has 28 days?
Yeah, absolutely. We knew coming into this year that our freshmen were super talented and that they were going to bring a lot to our program, and they did. They come in day one of preseason with the skill. Towards the end of the season now, we're working on the mental aspect because volleyball is a huge mental game. So we've really focused on purpose with all of our shots, with all of our passes, knowing where we are in the court, and maybe the ball's off so you can't slam it down at your opponent, but you have to tip it or you have to roll it and find the open shot on the court. So that's what we're really working on now.
I think that's a very interesting thing you talked about there, the mental side of volleyball, because I think even someone else from your team mentioned that when we think of most sports, where obviously the mental part of it is part of it, but we're also thinking, oh, whoever's got the biggest, fastest, strongest players is going to win that contest. What about the sport of volleyball makes it more mental than physical?
Yeah, it's definitely a huge mental game. You're going to lose points, and that's a fact of the game. You're not going to win a game 25-0.
Right.
So it's how you respond to those points and how you're going to bounce back. And at the end of the game, in those tight games, like last night was, we were finding open spots on the floor, and we were putting the ball where their defense wasn't.
Is that how much of a confidence builder, I should say, is those games in which it is close? Because nobody's going to be upset if you win by a lot. But I feel like if you're getting closer to the end of the season, you're about to start the ODAC tournament, you want to be able to have experience in close games.
Yeah, the ODAC's a conference of volleyball where you can't overlook anybody, so getting those tight wins are just as huge as getting those shutout wins. Last night especially, we knew Guilford was a really good team, and we knew they were going to battle us pretty hard. So it was a pretty tight game throughout, but we were able to pull away at the end, which is something we probably wouldn't have been able to do a year ago.
What about your season overall? How do you think that you have progressed from a sophomore to a junior?
Yeah, last year was tough for me, getting injured within like the first week of season, and coming back this year, I knew I was going to be looked to with so many underclassmen, and kind of stepping up and taking them, showing them where I think they can score, and if they've got a better idea, then telling me where they think they want to score.
Well, also building that leadership role, of course, is something that's very important when you're going to be a senior next year, and you got all these freshmen this year. They're going to be looking up to you for sure. Is that something you relish? Do you like that? Do you like being in that position to lead?
I like it, yeah. It's kind of come with the position I play as setter, that you're being looked to lead the team. But it's fun. We're a fun team. We all have fun. We all respect each other and know that we've got a job to do, but at the same time, we love volleyball, and we're not here to do a job in its full sense, but we're here to play the sport we love, and winning's fun. So if we can do that, we're going to do that.
Well, winning is very fun, and you have experience with teams and winning even out of season, with something that we highlighted last year for you and your love for jump roping. A lot of people, once they get to a certain age, like, nope, no jump roping, it's too much of a workout, I don't want to do that. But you have made a point to, even once you got into college, sticking with it. I'm really interested in that part because you're very busy. You're a full-time student, you play volleyball at a very high level, and then you have to have these moments in the off-season where you're practicing for nationals and everything. Why continue to put yourself through that grind?
I guess I just love the grind. I love doing it. Jump ropes, it's something that you can't really describe, and it's a different environment than any other sport because you have these people that you grow to love, but you're doing on your own and you're doing it with them and you're all coming together to do it. And it's addictive. That's all I can say about it. I love my team, and that's the reason you really keep coming back for it.
How long do you think you can do it?
I'm done.
Okay.
I'm done.
Okay.
Last year I said, yeah.
That was it.
I'm done.
She hung up the jump rope.
Hopefully, looking to come back as a coach this year, so we'll see.
So still staying involved?
Yeah, I'll always be involved, just different roles.
What's your favorite memory from doing that?
Oh, there's so many. It's taken me so many places. I wouldn't have ever been on an airplane until my senior year of high school without jump rope, and flying at 6 years old all around the country. And just the opportunities you had. My favorite one's probably the Macy's Parade. I was lucky enough to have the opportunity to jump that twice. So
That's
and it was
awesome.
Yeah,
that's not something everybody gets a chance to do.
Yeah, it was tough. Training was tough. It's 3 miles continuous. But it was fun. I mean, it's not something you can say you do, and if the opportunity comes, you gotta take it.
You could have had a nice meal at a buffet after
I could
all
have,
that.
yeah.
All those calories burned for sure.
I could have.
Something else, of course, that comes with this, we mentioned you're a full-time student.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you have career aspirations outside of your 4 years here. You mentioned you want to be a multimedia journalist.
Mm-hmm.
Some people would say, what does that mean? Are you not honing in on one specific area? Is that basically what you're looking at?
Yeah, I think with today's society and in today's world, there's so many different mediums you can get your message across, and that different ways relate to different people. So if someone's reading your print, that's going to get across to them best, but the younger generation and my generation, videos where it's going to be in social media. So to know all those things and get message out there.
Mm-hmm. Do you find that when you're posting something for yourself, that you're thinking of it as, okay, does this time of day work best for most reach? Do you look at it that way?
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone does. You know, you have like your prime posting hour.
True.
But you try not to think about it.
We do live for likes.
Yeah.
We do. We live for likes nowadays. What made you want to think about doing that, about covering stuff, about being in, to try and cover stories and bring that to other people who may not be able to be on that level?
Yeah, I like how there's always something deeper than what you see on the surface, and how you kind of have to dig to find that, and letting people know what's out there and what they're missing in the world, because it's so big and there's so much going on.
Right.
And just interacting with people and learning more about different ways of life around the world.
Are you getting to do any of that here on campus?
Yeah, with LHSN.
I was hoping you would throw that plug in there. That was really, really good.
Do what I can.
Great job, great job. We teach our students very well on how to brand LHSN. Before we go, Lynn, I do want to talk about, end with volleyball, and talk about, for you guys, when you look at the ODAC tournament coming up, and the way you guys have battled and the wins that you've had, even though you're not going to be hosting, when you talk about the ODAC, you say we can't overlook anybody. Do you feel like when you go into a game, they can't overlook us because we have a great chance to come out with a victory?
Yeah, absolutely. We're a tough team, we're a resilient team, and one thing that we have over some other teams is that we are a team in its truest aspect, and that we want to play for each other and the person next to us.
You got me sold. Yep. I think you guys are off to a great start to your ODAC tournament, and wish you the best of luck once you get there.
Well, thank you.
Lynn, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We'll be right back after a short break with Tori Dott from Women's Soccer.
Zaxby's food has always brought people together, catering to the big moments, the little wins, the long talks, and the quick getaways. Because food this inviting is bound to add a lot of flavor to your life.
Introducing the Zax Pack. Served with chicken fingers, sides, Texas toast, and iced tea. Pick one up for dinner or your next event. Friends, family, flavor. Zaxby's. Indescribably good.
Welcome back, everyone, to this week's edition of the Weekly Sting. The wind has calmed down for a moment, so we have some time to take our time and remind you to follow us on social media. We have everything covered, from Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat as well. And of course, you can find all that information on the screen, but also at lynchburgsports.com. Also, in the last segment, we promised that we would tell you the answer to the Hornet Trivia question. Let's remind you again of the question. We're talking about men's basketball. Their preseason poll just came out today. We asked, when was the last time a men's basketball team won back-to-back ODAC championships? Of course, Lynchburg won last year. We also asked who. 2005, 2006, Virginia Wesleyan won back-to-back championships against Randolph-Macon both times, and 06 was actually the year they won the national championship as well. So a lot of knowledge there for you to handle. A lot of knowledge coming your way as well with our next guest, Tori Dott of women's soccer assistant coach. Tori, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you taking some time out of your schedule. I know things are getting busy, gearing up for the last game of the season, ODAC tournament coming up. With the team this year, we've seen ups and downs, even some downs that we're not used to, of course, which is territory that we talk about the players not being used to, but even as coaches, you guys haven't experienced losing at home or especially in the ODAC at all in a while. In that moment, from a coaching standpoint, how do you make sure that that doesn't kill your season?
I think with that's a pivotal moment because you can go two ways. You can give up and complain, and you haven't been there for a while, so it's easy to throw your arms up, or you can see what you need to work on and address it and then attack that. So I think we've been really good about going back to the books and thinking like, okay, where have we missed? Where do we need to get better? And let's go with that way.
Has that been actually a point in the year that has helped you guys with your success as of late?
I think it's crazy though this year is that every game we're seeing a different challenge. So usually we focus on one thing all season, whether it's outside mid play, center mid play, the defense. This year it's like, all right, this week we're focused on center mids, next week we're outside mids, and honestly every game we know what we need to do to attack the next player. So a couple people sit in, so we're working on forwards. A couple people are coming out and pressuring our center mids, so we need to work on them under pressure. So it's just every week is an interesting practice, which I really like.
Keeps it on your toes.
Yeah, definitely.
Last thing about the team currently, we know that we're not going to host the tournament, but do you try and take it from a coaching angle and say, hey, that's fine, we'll win it on somebody else's turf?
That's just another challenge. Our girls do a lot of off-the-field work in the fall, in the spring, and that's just one more thing you can throw at them. Like, how many things have you done? Now you can go steal it from this team who thinks they have it set. So for us, we're more about dream crushing. So it's interesting to go to somewhere where they think they have it in the bag and then hopefully take it from them.
I like that.
We'll see.
I like that a lot. Well, we wish you the best of luck next week
Thank you.
when it does take place, and good luck on Saturday
Thanks.
as well. Speaking of dreams, you have some dreams. You don't necessarily want to be here
Pretty
forever,
big ones.
but you like to teach. You want to be around younger kids. 3rd and 4th grade seems to be your area which you really enjoy. What about that age piques your interest?
I think they're still really curious, and I heard a statistic way long back is that a 3rd grader or 4th grader, that's the age where they decide that they're bad at something, and I want to kind of intervene there and let them know they're still good at it. I don't want them to make that decision that they're going to decide they're bad at math for the rest of their life, or they're bad at reading for the rest of their life. So if I can get in that age and turn it around, I think it's really meaningful.
That's a great point. That's a really admirable reason to get into something.
We'll see if it's true.
Well, right, you'll find out. Whenever that does happen, you would certainly be able to find out. When with that comes, needing to be around students, younger kids. Obviously, you have the coaching side of it, but you and really this program does a lot of work for sports outreach and taking trips to Africa and helping out others that really need external help. What about those trips? Do you still, because you're going back for what, 4th?
Third time.
Third time?
Yeah, 3rd time.
Why continue to go back? What about those trips gets you excited and passionate to keep going?
I've been very blessed that Coach kind of from the time I got here was really putting it in my brain about let's go to Africa, see what you can do. And then once you're there, it's just they want to be educated so bad. There's students that will sit, 3-year-olds that will sit quietly for 3 hours waiting for their turn to have an hour of class. So for me to watch that, just these students really want to learn, just bring it back here in the States where people are like, oh, they don't want to go to school, trying to come, I'm sick, things like that. So if I could just bring a little bit of that from Africa to the United States, I think our education system will be more interesting and way better. So I do agree with that.
I do agree with that. I think we do take a lot of things for granted as well.
Me too. I had my fair day of sick days, so
right,
for
sure. I'm actually looking forward to y'all's next trip. I was asked to go, so that'll be.
You should. I'll sit next to you on the plane.
I think okay.
Or you can sit in front of me, and I'll just nail you.
Let's not do that. Let's not do that. But I'll sit next to you for sure.
Awesome.
I'll probably get that anyway, depending on who's sitting behind us. Speaking of you doing something like that, you say you're not known, or maybe as this, but anybody that's around you could probably figure out that you were a class clown in high school.
It was.
And to go along with the clown thing, you actually could ride a unicycle?
Yeah, for my birthday when I was 11, actually it might have been Christmas, they're around the same time, I got a red unicycle and it came with a red pole. So it helped you practice, and I would just go up and down the street with my pole and my unicycle. And finally, my dad was like, "I'm too embarrassed to see you with the pole. You gotta get rid of it." So then I learned to do it.
So
by
it wasn't the unicycle; it was the pole with the unicycle.
Yeah, he was more embarrassed about the pole, which my mom was probably embarrassed about it all. So it doesn't really matter.
Okay. So can you still ride a unicycle?
I haven't been on one in a couple years, but I mean, I'm willing to give it a try.
Okay. Well, we might have to talk to the right people and make that happen, because that would be a viral video.
Coach Waters,
that would take.
You're listening. Really would like an Adidas unicycle.
Specifically Adidas. We'll talk to Rob, see if he can hook us up with that.
Awesome.
As well. Also, outside of the coaching world, you did play here, and we talk about the school in general, the feel, the athletics at this school is second to none. Why would you still harp on that message? You know, now that you've been separated from the athlete side of it, now you're a coach, does that message still hold up no matter what level you're at this school?
I mean, the reason I came back was just to give back. I felt that my 4 years here were incredible, amazing. I wouldn't change a single thing, and just the only way I could repay that was to give it back to the new players coming in. So, I mean, another 3 years of my life hanging out in Virginia just so I can give back what I've gotten, and it's been so huge.
That right there is just a spotlight story that just about anybody I talk to has a similar story of why they want to continue to be involved. So no surprises there. We do have a surprise for our viewers. You know about this. We're going to play a game. We have to. Tori Dott is here. Tori Dott loves games, as do I, as do the crew. If they don't, we're going to have to deal with it anyway. So here are my questions, and I have your questions. So it's time to play Rapid Fire.
You first? I'm first? Who's first?
I'll go first.
You're asking me?
I'm asking you first. All right? A lot of pressure
Got
here.
it.
Okay? So, you ready?
I'm ready.
Official timer, are you ready? Okay?
Ready. Start when you want.
All right, and we're going to start right now. Number one, if you could have any superpower, what would it be and why?
Invisibility, because Harry Potter was invisible once.
If you performed a comedy show, who would be your stand-up partner?
Chelsea Lately.
Oh,
Chelsea
okay,
Handler.
good choice. Name a person from history you'd like to meet.
George Washington, just because I can't think of anything else.
And the last thing is, use one word to describe Joe Hutzler.
Joe Hutzler, corny!
Corny? 5 seconds to spare. Wow.
Go back to history. Oh, I'm done.
Just George. We're sticking with George Washington.
Think of someone. That's
first president. That's a good from Virginia.
Someone.
So yeah, corny.
Corny.
Really?
Like these games are corny but really fun. Corny but fun.
Okay, nice save.
Fun but corny, actually.
Nice
fun.
save. Okay.
People
All
first
right.
language.
All right. Now it's your turn to not be corny.
Were you looking?
No, of course not. Maybe I was looking, but I couldn't read.
All right. Let me know when.
Go when you're ready.
We're ready? What sport do you wish you would have played?
Ice hockey.
What's your favorite social media outlet?
Instagram.
Instagram. If you went to the greatest classic rock concert of all time, what 3 bands would be featured?
Leonard Skinner, REO Speedwagon, and Guns N' Roses.
Nice. What's your dream car?
A 1969 Mustang GT 500.
Wow, very specific.
Silver with black stripes. Oh, I got in there too.
That was quick.
Awesome. Any more questions? No. Okay.
Is it?
Didn't get one more extra one in there. All right. Well, that was awesome. Now everybody knows a lot more about us and a lot more about my love for old things, classic rock and classic cars. Thank you for doing that, by the way. I'll take that from you. And before we go, I do want to bring up, what this season, when you look at the end, I know it's hard to think about it because it's not over yet, and you want to still be playing 2-3 weeks from now. But if you can take the regular season to this point and describe this team, is there something, is it one word, is it a sentence that really puts a stamp on what this team has done?
I mean, if there's anything, is that we have to go out there and play like we have a target on our back every game, because this year they finally nailed it. So everyone's coming out and they're playing 100% against us, so target on our back, and it's just seeing how we can pull together as a team and remove it and attack for them. So
well, I'm super excited about your chances for sure.
I hope so.
Going right in with a peaking and a nice streak going. So it's going to be really interesting. We hope that you guys follow it as well. You can, of course, do that by going to lynchburgsports.com. Thanks for watching the show today. Tori, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
It was great. We're going to have you back for sure. This was very, very fun. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you same time, same place next week.